Hi there, Charles. My name's Ashley. I'm a student physical therapist at Owens Community College, and today I'm going to be working with you and Charlie over some developmental milestones and how to get him to reach those developmental milestones and why they're important. So first, I want to address the milestones with you. If you see me peering off to the side, it's just some notes that I have here just so I can cover everything that I want to cover with you guys. So I noticed three things in Charlie that I want to work on with him to help him reach these milestones. So the first thing is he's unable to achieve what we call quadruped alone. When he's in quadruped, it seems like he wants to sit on his heels with his arms extended. So what quadruped is hands and knees, and then this is obviously going to start engaging in crawling and a couple of other things. And what Charlie wants to do here is he likes to sit because it's easier this way. He doesn't have to put weight through the back end here, and he can just do stuff like that. But the whole point in quadruped is to help him start to weight bear through his hips, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But for right now, that's just one thing that I noticed that I want to work on with him. Another thing is it seems like he doesn't want to counter rotate when he's in standing, and unable to weight shift and keep his balance with weight shifting when he's in standing, like if he's standing at a table and he's just standing there holding himself up with his arms, and if he wanted to move at all, he loses his balance pretty easily, it looks like. Again, this is important for walking and stuff like that, but we'll get into that a little bit later. And the last thing that I noticed is he's unable to do what we call radial digital grasp with a toy block. So radial digital grasp is when you start to use the tips of your thumb and your fingers to grab onto smaller objects, like here. This would be what Charlie would want to do. He'd want to put it in his palm. What we want him to do is we want him to start using his tip of his fingers so that he can realize that you can grab smaller things and you don't have to pull them into your palm. So why these things are important. Quadruped, that 4-point position where he's on his hands and knees with his tummy parallel to the floor. It's important because it's a position that gets the child ready to start pulling themselves up into kneeling. And then pulling themselves up into kneeling helps them get ready to weight bear through the hips. So it starts to get them ready to put weight on their lower legs and lower extremities to get them ready to start walking. Eventually they get comfortable in the kneeling position and bearing the weight through their legs, and then that encourages them to start walking, and they start to increase their strength in the lower legs with that position. So obviously this is something important because everyone wants their child to walk. Counter rotation and weight shifting and standing are both important because weight shifting allows the child to dissociate their legs and realize they are independent. They have independent limbs. So basically what that means is weight shifting and counter rotating is like when you lose your balance and then you stick your one arm out and your one leg out, and then you're all of a sudden back on weight and back balance. That's what counter rotation means, just going in the opposite direction of where your body's going so that you can keep balance and maintain stability. So that and weight shifting are both important so that the child can stand, so Charlie can stand and start to do tasks in that motion. He's able to shift his weight and walk different places and maintain stability without falling over. We want to prevent him from falling over, obviously, to prevent any injuries from him and get him comfortable to begin walking, as he is 9 months, so he's reaching the 12-month mark, so hopefully we start to get him walking soon. And the last thing, the radial digital grasp, so this is important so that the child starts to realize their hand isn't just one thing. They don't just have to do this all the time. You can actually move the fingers independently and grab onto small objects and do things more functionally throughout daily life. So if he needed to like grab something out of like a small container or something along the lines of that, gets him ready to do those things. Like if he needed to grab like those puffs those those kids puffs like out of a container, he'd be able to do that. But obviously you can't put your whole hand in the container. You kind of have to stick your fingers in there and grab it out. So this helps to get him ready for that, so he can feed, and so he can like grab onto different things and can touch things and observe them, and that way he's able to dissociate the whole hand from the fingers. So to address these problems, we're going to be doing some exercises with him, and I've got an HEP ready to go for you guys as well, a home exercise program. And I will pull that up here and I'll just explain those things. So the first thing I wanted to do with Charlie is to work on that digital grasp, sorry. So to work on this digital grasp, and I'll show you here, here's his HEP. As you can see, there's a little block there. Drawings aren't immaculate, but you get the point, hopefully. If not, we can address that in an email. But what I want you to do with him, let me grab this. This is kind of a perfect example because you can't stick your whole hand in there, but you have to kind of use your fingers to grab it out. So you could place like a building block. Obviously I have melatonin gummies in here, but you'll still get the point with that. So this will help Charlie to realize I can't fit my whole hand in here, so I can stick a couple of fingers in here and grab it out, so I can grab the gummy out. So basically what I want you to do is to find a cup or a container or something like that where he can't stick his whole hand into. He has to use his fingers to grab the bottom of it, like a kind of like a Pringles can. You know how you have to like shimmy stuff out and you have to use your fingers to grab it out? You can't stick your whole hand in there or your hand will get stuck in the Pringles can. It's the same idea as that. So what I want you to do is to put a block inside of a container like this and have Charlie grab the block out of the container. The fact that it is in a smaller container to where his hand can't fit in there will already encourage him to start wanting to use those pincher fingers and want to grab it out like that. So I would just say try to focus on when Charlie's doing this, on him not trying to stick his whole hand in there. You can show him a couple of times, like, hey, you can use these fingers, let me show you, and then he'll probably get the concept and start trying to replicate that. You can perform this when you're doing playtime or during feeding even. So if you wanted to give him like some puffs in a little small container like this, or like some cheese cubes or something like that. I'll be honest, I'm not sure if 9-month-olds can eat that, but I'm pretty sure they can. But it's, yes, so grab something out of a small container to where he has to use his fingers and can't stick his whole hand in there, and just grab it with his whole hand. Really encourage using those little fingers. Again, you can perform this during playtime. I would say try to do it 3 times a day and then perform it on 5 times on each hand if you can. Or just enough to where he's getting it on both hands at the same time. If the container is too small and his hand gets stuck in there, call emergency services to prevent any injuries. If complications occur, follow up with your providing physical therapist. The next thing I want him to do is weight shift at a table in standing. So what I would want him to do is I would want him to stand at a table to where he can kind of has his hands down like this. And what I would want you to do with him, or what we will do with him in therapy, is I want you to grab an object and hold it out of his reach. So like a toy or keys or something to grab his attention. And just out of his reach over to the side, I want him to be encouraged to reach and grab. Now, as you can see, as I'm reaching, even though I'm sitting, as I'm reaching, I'm putting more weight on one side, promoting some weight shifting, and my hands supported on the table. That way he'll reach and grab the toy and start playing with it a little bit, and then you can do that a couple of times on each side. So again, at a table, he's nice and tall standing, and then try to just put the keys or the toy out of his reach on each side so that he can shift his weight over to one side to grab the key and shift his weight over to the other side to grab the key. The next one, oh wait. So the same thing with this one, perform this during playtime, try to do it 3 times a day and try to do it on 5 times on each side. Again, if anything happens, call emergency services or follow up with your PT, your providing PT. The last one that I want to do with you is quadruped reaching. So basically what I would want you to do is either find like a rolled up towel or a rolled up blanket, and I'm going to demonstrate with the little ducky here, even though he's got little baby arms. Have his stomach on the rolled up blanket. I have his knees here and his hands out in front of him, straight out in front of him. That way he's forced into the quadruped position. And then from here, I would want you to grab a toy or keys or something to get his attention, or cones or anything like that, and put it just out of his reach out here. That way he has to shift his weight forward and grab the keys and then have to come back. That way he's weight shifting and he's not fully sitting on his legs, and will promote that weight bearing through those legs. So to show you a little bit better, imagine I'm a baby, I've got a bolster underneath me, and I would have to reach forward, and as I'm reaching forward I have to put my weight through my elbow here. Reach forward, I grab it, I come back, and I shift my weight back. This way he gets used to just moving his weight through his arms, and he's more encouraged, oh, I have stability here, so I can do this position, and eventually he'll want to crawl. So yes, those are your EGPs. I will email those to you. If you have any questions, you can always follow up with me. You can give me an email. And that is all I have for you guys today. So if you have any questions or concerns or anything that I can help you with, go ahead and shoot me an email and I'll be happy to answer you guys. And hopefully we can get Charlie to reach these milestones so that he's ready for walk-in. All right, it was nice to meet you guys, and I'll see you next time. Have a good day.